Hey, hey, good morning. Welcome to our podcast, Spiritual Vacancy. We are here to help assist and fill your spiritual void. My name is Brooke Ann. I'm a psychic, medium, Reiki practitioner, and a light worker. And I'm with the lovely.
Hey, I'm Mona Lee. I am an energy healer, energy worker, mind, body, spirit, and love this stuff. So I'm so glad that y'all are here to join us.
Yeah, today we're talking about, house cleansing, clearing, why, what should you use, what should you do, how often? There's so many questions about house cleansings and negative energy, positive energy, all that stuff. And that's what we're going to be going
And
over.
this isn't just house cleansing. I'm sorry. It's not just about vacuuming your house or dusting your house. This is all about that energy clearing and getting rid of the stuff, the negative vibes and negative juju, if you will.
Yes, and you can do it once a week, once a month, every day. There's no like right or wrong on the amount that you can do it because some people like to do it every day. And that's totally fine. If you want to
So
take, do it
how
every
often do you
day.
do yours? I'm so sorry, Brooke.
I do it like once a month. I'll go
Yeah.
around and for me, I always open my front door, open my back door, let the breeze come through. So whatever's coming in, it's got to go out. So if there's any negativity, it's got to go. And then I'll start counterclockwise around my house, do all the door frames, the corners, and I always say a prayer when I do it. And it feels so much lighter. You could tell.
Mhm.
My husband will come home and he'll be like, "Did you sage?" Not only can he smell it because it's very strong, but then you could feel the energy shift.
Yeah.
You really can.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's no right or wrong way. Everyone's got a different way. And that's what we're here to discuss is the different possibilities and the different ways and how we sage and cleanse and clear our houses as well. So you do yours once a month. I find that I do because I do at least 2 or 3 groups of people a week, plus individuals, a couple different individuals a day. So between every person, between every group, especially after a group of people, I'm like, all right, let me get this stuff out and sage it out, sage it out. But there's also the different methods, whether there's sage or palo santo, or even using a pendulum. I don't know if you've ever cleared space with a pendulum before, but that's a neat way to go for people who can't stand the scent of sage. And I
Oh,
like to remind people too that if they don't like the scent of sage, knowing though that it's an antibacterial, antimicrobial, antivirus. So if you're afraid of cold season or anything happening like that, just know that you are clearing the yuck germs out of your space as you're saging as well. Not just the energy, but the sicknesses.
definitely. And sage is to clear out the negativity. Palo Santo is to bring in the positivity.
Mm.
So you can burn whichever you choose. But if you
Mhm.
have any heaviness or there's a negative feeling around you, like just like you yourself, not spirit, I don't mean spirit, but maybe you're having a bad day. And maybe like things are getting to you, emotionally. Sage yourself, sage your
Mhm.
house, sage your space. And I use white sage in an abalone shell. So I have this little big thing here.
Smoke that fatty.
And and you could buy it. Like I've never bought mine on Amazon, but you can. But I'll try to go to a local, gem store, somewhere that sells stones, or maybe they hand pick their sage or get it from a reputable, source where it is actually white sage and you really are buying the right thing. And then I have my fancy sage where if you've had sessions, I will never burn this because it's just so pretty and it has like a little rose
Mm.
quartz, embedded into it. I just can't, I've had this for years and I just can't burn it.
That's
But
pretty. I wouldn't want to burn that one either.
no, no, it's just for looks. It's not,
Yeah.
I'll just carry it around with me. It'll cleanse
You're
something.
so fancy. So I want to talk about and share with people how I found that was helpful also. So the sage bundles that you have, they're very similar to these ones as well. And For those of you who have a business license or those of you who are have a store, what I found also is Key Ups International. I do love to support locals, absolutely. But because I've had my own store, I've gone through Key Ups International, and you just give them your business license number and then you can get everything wholesale. So you can get bundles of this beautiful white sage. What I find is that I used to like just take the lighter and burn the end of it, and then the whole thing is like it goes very quickly. But what I found is that these little strings, if you can see the little strings on
Uh-huh.
there, I cut these strings off, and if you look at these little tubes, there's about 5 pieces, 5 little chunks on here, and you can really kind of let it go further. So if I may, I'll demonstrate how this works in my house.
Because it literally
So
pulls apart.
it does. It pulls apart.
Uh-huh.
So you can pull them apart into like these little pieces, right? So what I found is that I'll take either a shell, like that, but I can't find my shell for the life of me. This is a little bowl that I use. And then what I found is that when you take a tea light, especially when you're doing your whole entire house, walking around clockwise, opening up a front door and a back door, wherever you want that energy to go and flow out, and walking around 3 times clockwise in every room is what I like to do. Um, so you take this and then you can carry the tea light with you on a little plate, and then you burn it until it snuffs out. Now, I don't know, my grandfather who used to do, he was a monk in the temples and he never blew out the fire. You fan it out. So I use a feather. Okay. These are just basic feathers. So you can walk around your space. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, it
Mm-hmm.
smells so good. And then walk around every room 3 times just to remove whatever is in there. And also what I like to say, and I don't know if you do this or not, Brooke, but I like to say anything less than loving light is not to be in this space. Only the highest frequencies of loving light is to be in this space. And it's almost like you command that to happen. It's just loving light, loving light. So
Yes, what I say
yeah.
is very similar. It's just pretty much a
Mm,
prayer throughout each room about letting go of anything negative that doesn't need
yeah.
to be there and add it, bring in the positivity and the light.
I love that. I love that you mentioned about the Palo Santo. I had no idea. Like I burn the Palo Santo, and what I found on the Palo Santo, these little sticks, they
Mhm,
smell so good and so sweet.
mhm.
But I love that you shared that that's what brings in the positive, the
Positivity,
sage
yeah,
releases the negative. So
yeah,
thank you for
yeah.
sharing that. Do you find that the Palo Santo is harder to burn when you, that's
Yes,
why I find the tea light candle is really helpful when you're using Palo Santo, because of being able to hold it over the light as often as you need to get that nice smudge going.
definitely. Yes, and
Okay.
there's times where my sage, I literally have to put it out because it won't stop burning.
Right?
Yeah, and the Palo Santo
Ah,
is harder to light, burn. It doesn't stay lit as long, so you have to constantly like relight it. But that is all for the positivity, and it smells so good.
it does. I am like in it right now. I love it. I love it. Now, another thing that I found is a really great tool to use is you can get little chunks of copal. And that burns, and it's such a pleasant scent as well. Copal is a nice release, as well as frankincense, as well as myrrh, and they come in little resin chunks. You can get, what are those things called where you have the little mortar, tick, 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 and then you have a tool that is a little bowl, and then you can crush it. Mortar.
Guacamole? Is that what?
Pesto, pesto motor. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, you can put all these things in a bowl and mix them all up.
Reminds me of whether you're like muddling, like
There, it's something like that, but
yeah,
I know our listeners know what I'm talking
they
about. So make
know.
a comment below if you will. That would be great.
What is that thing called? I can't think of it either. I'm like, as you're saying that, I'm picturing somebody making guacamole
Y'all
too.
know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about. You know what I'm saying. You know what
Yeah,
I'm so
they do.
but just mixing those beautiful pieces of resin is very helpful if you take a piece of charcoal, like the little charcoal discs that you can also order online, light that on fire and put little spoons of that on top of the little sage, and that's a really beautiful smudging technique. And then of course walk around with the feather to get all the stuff out there. So
Yeah, and see, I think it's cool you use a feather. I just use my hand
okay.
as I've like visualized me removing the so I every there's no right or wrong. It's
Yes,
with the
yes.
right intention. but
Yep.
I don't use a feather. I just use my hand and I'm like visualizing the energy
Perfect.
leaving the space with my
Yes.
energy. But I need you to talk about the pendulum stuff. So I use
Oh,
a pendulum during
yes.
Reiki and
Yes.
balancing the chakras and all that stuff, but I
Mhm.
have never used a pendulum cleansing a house.
Oh, it is absolutely phenomenal. With the pendulum, I do pendulum work a lot with different things, whether it's testing and balancing the chakras, well, mostly testing the chakras, not balancing them with the pendulum. But
Right,
also
that's
to
what I meant.
find
Yeah.
objects, also to find your yeses and nos. That's going to be a totally different podcast, and I can't wait to share information about a pendulum. So as far as clearing space is concerned, you can either, if you don't have a pendulum, you can also take even your house key and put it on a string, and that creates a pendulum. You can take a necklace, like this would be a pendulum. This could be a pendulum because it's got a little weight on the bottom of it, this crystal.
One
So
point.
you can
Yeah.
create a pendulum through even with taking, and this is as silly as it sounds, but even taking paper clips, putting them together, and then putting a wad of bubble gum at the end.
Oh, wow. Really?
Whatever has the weight on it, you can create a pendulum. So
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
nobody has an excuse not to have a pendulum. Okay.
Right. I could.
So basically, or you could check out Beautiful Mind and come on in and get one. So
Yes.
here's, yeah. So here is an idea of when you walk into a room, you hold the pendulum, and it's so bizarre. So walk into a room, hold the pendulum. I did some clearing in here, so there's nothing going on, but I'm going to move my hand for a second so you can see what a possibility of what it would look like. But when you're in a room and there's energy that needs to go, you'll see it literally. And I'm moving my hand right now, but you can see, I mean, I've had a pendulum almost fly out of my hands when it was going like
Mhm.
this. I'm moving
Did
my
you?
hand right now, but
Right.
however, when you go into that space and you just hold your stillness, you can see if it's not moving, then it's clear. You're good to go. If your pendulum, when you walk into a space or a room, like I had a friend of mine in California, she called me and she's like, what's going on? I got something in my bedroom and I can't sleep at night. This is really creeping me out. And I know something's in here and I got to clear it out. She was in her living room where she had little crystals and things. And she stood in her living room for the first spot and she's like, ah, it's dead. It's not moving. And I said, okay, next we're going to go into your living room. So we're on the Zoom call. She went into her bedroom. Sure enough, that thing was going crazy until, she was also, we were praying.
Mhm.
All right, Jesus. All right, light. Okay, love, or whatever you want to pray to, whatever feels good to you, the light and the love, pray and ask for that to go.
Mhm.
And then you'll find that after you can walk around the room also 3 times with the pendulum. And eventually when that does stop, it means it's clear.
Right. Yeah.
Clear.
I think it's awesome. I've never actually used the pendulum.
Mm,
Um,
fascinating.
and then I also don't, me personally, I do not like remove negative spirits from homes or anything like that. I just do the cleansing part or the clearing of energy. I think you would need a specific like medium that deals with dark energies or negative energies to like clear something like that. So I just want to make that clear. That's not what I do. I don't work with dark energies at all. And I know Mona doesn't either. So,
I have done clearings before in some dark spaces and it's not comfortable. I bring
oh,
in also, and I don't have it with me, but rattles. And you can have 2 or 3 people assist in this where somebody is saging, somebody is rattling and just moving the energy, or the bells or the little chimes that you can ding together. And that's also helpful. But when you feel that something's going on, it's almost like all the hairs on your arms stand up, right? When you
right,
feel something that's not all that great, because you can sense it, you can feel it, for those of us that are tapped into those energetic.
right. So
Yeah.
you've actually removed a negative spirit from a house before?
I have gone to a place, places of business, and I have moved things out of their places of business and a few different homes as well.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Yeah, I won't do
there
that.
is, and it's really interesting because it's all different. It all feels so different depending on what's in there, but also the people in those establishments, whether they're the homes or the places of business, they've got to do the work too. They really need to,
Hmm.
really protect. And that's what I want to share with all of our listeners. Please protect your space.
Yeah.
If there's something negative and dark, just ask for them or it to go. There are some kind of witchy sounding things where people can take with it black Himalayan sea salt, and then put that around the property as well for some
Right?
protection.
Yeah.
Making holy water. I actually shared with one of my clients today for her place of where she works. She's got a lot of energies that come in. So I was sharing with her how to make holy water,
Right.
where, pray over it. Prayer is so amazing. And take
Hmm.
some purified water, and then you can take pieces of sage, pieces of the palo santo, some essential oils, cinnamon stick,
Yeah. Yeah.
anise, and boil it into a water, add some Himalayan sea salt, not just the white table salt, but the Himalayan sea salt, and then boil it and pray over it, and then let it cool down. And you can take a flower, like we have some little carnations here for Valentine's Day, and take a flower, dip it in, and just with intention, tap on the different frames of the door, the different parts of the doors, or the corners of the room, or the windowsills.
Right.
So that
Those-
always feels amazing
Yes.
when you use holy water with intention. Yeah.
Right. With the positive intention.
Yes,
And
yes,
cinnamon, a
yes.
lot of people will take cinnamon and put it in their hand and blow it in their front door for prosperity and
Oh,
abundance every the first of the month as well.
okay,
So
okay.
you can do that too. That's like a little ritual that people will do for abundance on the first of
Mm.
the month. It's like, don't forget to blow your cinnamon in your front door.
Oh,
And
I
then,
love
like, don't
that.
forget a
Plus, it
sage.
smells good.
It
And it
does.
smells
I'm
yummy.
like, don't forget to sage while you do that too. If you have anything negative going on in your house, and I mean just like within themselves or
Mm.
negative people coming over and things like that. Because like you going to clear negative spirits and things like that, that is something I think it's awesome that you have done it. But if somebody were to call me to do that, I would refuse. Because I
Mm.
think a lot of times, yes, there's negative energies, but what is the person holding on to? Because when you're negative and you are fearful of things, you can attract certain things that no
Mhm.
matter what you clear out will stay because
Yeah.
you're already bringing it into your house.
Yes.
So it's not like it's different. It's like the thing that we talked about, what you put out, you get.
Mhm.
And so like my
Mhm.
house is really old and my friend always jokes like, "Oh, there's like dead people here." Like, well, yeah, probably. I mean, I'm sure somebody died
Yeah.
here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the house was
Yeah.
built in 48. But they don't stay with me because I'm not their people. I'm
Mhm.
positive. Nobody's haunting my house. Nobody's doing anything. And usually it's like other people's loved ones are the ones that are making the noise, but then when they put fear into it, it becomes a negative thing.
Oh yeah, and it's an energy. It is an energy, isn't it, Brooke? It
Yes.
is totally an energy that can be drawn to things. I do want to share with people too, as far as cleansing and clearing. And I know I said in the beginning of our of this podcast of the series is that it's not about vacuuming and dusting, but actually maybe it is partially as far as clutter. Like if you have clutter, if you have boxes and boxes of like stuff and junk, that's an energy.
Mhm.
And when I was going through NLP training, neuro linguistic programming training, and the facilitator was saying, well, look in your junk drawers. How many junk drawers do you have? And remember that that is also a representation of your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
So it made me want to clean all of my drawers and get them in order because I'm like, I know my mind has been cluttered, but I don't want to feel that. But also, what do you think about that, Brooke? Do you think that if people have a lot of clutter and trash or garbage or piles of stuff, that that would also possibly pull in some energies?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will shift the energy. I think even with us coming into spring cleaning, I think there's a
Mhm,
reason why there's that spring cleaning because that's the declutter, get rid of, let go
mhm,
of older energies or something that you might have like negative memories with, or you had a bad experience with, but you're holding on to these objects, this even old paperwork, that could have been a negative bill or a negative whatever that you're holding on to that energy. And
mhm.
then that spring cleaning, there's a reason why we spring clean every year. Like
Yes, yes.
that is a thing to get rid of that clutter because, and when you do and you clean out your closet, like you said, and you get rid of all that junk and you go through it, there is such a sense of like,
Yeah,
whoa, my space feels
absolutely.
good again.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to share another thing that just came through for me as well, as far as plants are concerned. I have plants all over my house.
Mhm.
And basically, the plants, especially like the snake plants, and they bring in oxygen at nighttime. they bring in the oxygen. So it's just also that's naturally cleaning and clearing your space. And in the winter time or the darker times, it's nice to have plants inside because I don't know about you, but I crave nature. When it's cold outside and it's dark outside and it gets dark fast, I want nature so badly, but bring it into your house, but bring it in all year round with your plants because
Mhm.
that does clean the air. It releases the carbon dioxide that we breathe out. It helps to just balance it out. So plants are a beautiful, beautiful way of keeping your space clean and pretty.
Yeah, and they're like living organisms that rely on you. Like they need
Mhm.
that water. They need to be placed in a certain area. They need your love. Talk to them. Like I
Mhm.
talk to my plants, they talk back.
Yes.
And you know when they need love, and they make not only the space more beautiful, it
Mhm.
does, like you said, it cleans the air, and they're just
Mhm.
so pretty to look at. And you just gotta love them a little bit, like
Yeah.
even once a week. And even if
Right.
anybody is listening to this and they're like, I don't have a green thumb, get a peace lily. You
Mhm.
cannot kill a peace lily. It literally talks to you when it
Yeah.
needs water. You don't have to
Uh-huh.
water it every day. The leaves
Yep.
go, wah, wah. You give it water, and you can literally in 10 minutes, it's like, thank you. And it back up, and it's like, okay, if you kill a peace lily, you really have neglected it for years. Nothing you can do. And
That's
they're
a good point.
and they're so pretty, and it's such a good place to start if
Absolutely.
you're listening to our podcast and you want to get like that fresh energy and you're ready to go spring clean and add in some new light and love and plants and things like that into your space, get a peace lily. Let
Yes.
that be your first starter plant. I promise. You will do great with it. You cannot go wrong unless you're blind. If you can't
Absolutely.
see, then you will not do good with it. But everything else, it talks to you. I love my
Yeah.
peace lily.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Love it. Love it.
yeah. And
Well,
so
good.
you actually do, like you guys out there can do your own house clearings. You could do the cinnamon on the first of the month. You could get a pendulum and use your homemade pendulum that Mona was telling you about if you don't want to go buy one. But you can also pay somebody to cleanse your house. Me and Mona both offer these services as well. If you would like somebody else to come into your space to offer that, or you feel like you're doing it, or maybe you're not doing it correctly, there are many practitioners that offer this, and I'm telling you, you will notice a difference. So please know
Yes.
that me and Mona both offer these services to help clear your energy and cleanse your space. And we hope you guys
Absolutely.
enjoyed the episode.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
yes, and I am Brooke Ann. You can find me on Facebook, a spiritual medium, Brooke Ann. My email is mediumbrookeann@gmail.com. My website is mediumbrookeann.com, and TikTok is mediumbrookeann. And we can find you, Mona, where?
Yes, I could be also found on Facebook and Instagram under Beautiful Mind SC for South Carolina. My website is beautifulmindsc.com and my number is on there as well. So if you're in the South Carolina area, just feel free to reach out.
Yeah, we hope you guys have a beautiful day.
Yes. Peace,
Namaste.
lilies, be with you.
Go buy your peace lily. Y'all have
Yes,
a
please
great day.
do.
Namaste.
Namaste.